This conference will now be recorded.
I'd like to welcome everyone tonight to our mayor and council meeting. Would everyone please rise for the pledge and the invocation?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Our dear God, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day that you have given us. Oh Lord, we pray as we go into Memorial Day weekend. We are here to honor our people that are in our military. We are here to honor those who have sacrificed their lives and gave up everything that they had to keep us free. Oh Lord, bless Miss Poppy as she is remembering those who have lost their lives. Be with us as we go into our meeting tonight, Lord. Guide us in a godly manner that we make the right decisions, not only for the town, but for the town's people too. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. All the council members are present, but Mary Lee, she may be running late. But we're going to go ahead and go on anyhow. Welcome, everyone. Nice crowd tonight. I know you all just came to hear us tonight. Now, most of you are on the agenda, that's why you're here, but still, we thank you. Review and approval of our meeting minutes, draft minutes for our regular meeting April 8th and our workshop meeting April 29th. Now, we had some corrections, and I think Kim have already taken care of those. Everybody should receive a few copies of those. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes as approved?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as approved.
And we have a second. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries. Treasury report. Tony?
Sure. Our general fund at the end of April has a balance of $1,832,915.57. There isn't anything of unusual to mention there. Water fund at the end of April, the water fund has a balance of $966,212.69. And our sewer fund has a balance of $152,017.47. The town has CDs invested. The CDs right now, the one that we have at Middletown Valley Bank, it's the CD for Schaefer Park. We do have that CD that is up for renewal. I actually tried to call them about 6 times. Their phone must not be working. I'll reach out to them again tomorrow. But their one CD there for $54,000 is going to need to be renewed. So I'll get the rates and I'll let y'all know next meeting what we did there. But the rest of the CDs that the town currently has at the end of April has a balance of $2,314,953.06. As far as other funds, we do have the restricted funds out at Middletown Valley Bank carrying a balance right now of $2,607,766.11. We also have the American Rescue funds held there at Middletown Valley Bank as well, $2,400,555.45. The water fund has a user fee account there with a balance currently of $534,558.14. And the sewer fund has a money market there with a balance currently at $102,550.53. That is everything that we have to date.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Anybody have any questions, concerns, or discussion? Hearing that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstained, motion carries. Now we have a presentation for Ms. Poppy. Ms. Poppy and Cindy and council, would you like to join me up at the flag for the presentation? Probably Mr. Fisher. Would y'all like to join me? Sure. I was waiting.
Can you make it?
Now, you shouldn't be nervous.
Much.
This
Been
isn't
here
your
before.
first time.
Let me say that for this year, we still have two Miss Poppies. We have Ella Stride, who couldn't be with us tonight. She has dance class on Monday night. And we have Eliana Duckett, who is here with us. And I just wanted to give you a little overview of why we celebrate poppies in this country. In the wake of destruction left by World War II in Europe, the poppy began to flourish in the war-torn fields of Flanders Field. Thought to be because of the lime-enriched soil, the changing chemical makeup of the earth gave way to a striking sea of red poppies that endured even to this day as a symbol for memorializing the loss of many during wartime. What started as a poem in 1915 has grown into a nationwide tradition to remember the sacrifices of those we have lost and honor the hope for which they did so. And this year, National Poppy Day is May 24th, so wear your poppies proudly.
And I have a proclamation for Ms. Poppy. Whereas America is a land of freedom, preserved and protected willingly and freely by citizen soldiers. Whereas millions who have answered the call to arms have died on the field of battle. Whereas a nation at peace must be reminded of the price of war and the debt owed to those who have died in war. Whereas the red poppy has been designated as a symbol of sacrifice of lives in all wars. And whereas the American Legion Auxiliary has pledged to remind America annually of this debt through the distribution of the memorial flower. Therefore, I, Howard W. Long, Mayor of the town of Boonesborough of Washington County, Dubai, hereby proclaim the month of May 2024 as Poppy Month and ask that all citizens pay tribute to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the name of freedom by wearing the memorial poppy on this day. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to the effects of the official seal of the town of Boonesborough, Maryland, this 13th day of May 2024. Congratulations. Get your basket, go around.
Get your basket, go around. Thank you. Why don't you go up there first?
I've had to have people look
You
at
did
it.
not have to give a donation.
Yeah, you don't have to go up.
You move up there.
Give them pop.
You need me to help.
Just want some money. Just want some money.
Thank you. Do you need help? They look nice.
In acknowledgement
I didn't
of
see a
your
big turnout. Sure enough, got a lot of poppies tonight.
I got a pair of readers.
Yeah, that'd be. First dollar.
Oh, no, wait a minute, I don't have, them. They're in the car.
Oh, look, you wasted your time.
Run.
What is he looking for?
Readers.
Oh, I don't have it with me.
I'll know that I need to keep some on me at all times.
I need to get some put in every car.
Doesn't look like anybody signed up for public comments. One, we have several guests tonight, so as this topic goes around, we're gonna go ahead and move on with our meeting. Ray? Please come forward. Sure, we don't fight.
You all have to.
Just saying.
I have a couple.
Mary Lee, you got a copy of the map?
I do. We never run out of copies. We don't.
Oh, yeah.
We never do.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. Thank you for the invitation to come and speak before you all this evening. My name is Ray Gallagher. I'm the executive director for Girls on Run in Western Maryland. Girls on Run is a nonprofit organization. We work with girls in grades 3 through 8 on building social emotional connection. We have it, school setting, and we incorporate this activity environment. So we're really excited to be working with girls at Big Girl Elementary School this year, as well as school. Girls participate in Hagerstown, women's sports, and sports. And at the end of each season, we host a celebration 5K. So the girls throughout the season are building either walking or running capacity to complete a 5K. So they set that goal and then it's on the 10-week season. They participate in the 5K event. So with them, they each have an adult running buddy who participates in the 5K. And so that's either a parent, a guardian, a caregiver, could be an older sibling. Some of our girls don't have somebody to run with them, and so we usually partner with a high school or other volunteers so that each girl has an adult running buddy running or walking with her throughout the course. So I am here this evening to ask for your permission to use some of the roads in the Kinsey neighborhood right next to the Boonesboro School campus. So we have permission to use the Boonesboro School campus for a good portion of the 5K event. We'd like to keep our 5Ks accessible so that individuals with disabilities can also participate. So that's why we're hoping to be able to use the neighborhood roads rather than the cross-country course, which is an alternative for us to consider if we're not able to use the neighborhood roads. But we would not be shutting those roads down. We'd rather just look to use half of the road and have course marshals stationed along the neighborhood so that residents can still access the time that we're holding the 5K. So the 5K event is scheduled for 9 a.m. on June 1st, which is a Saturday. And we anticipate that everybody will be completed with the 5K entirely by 10 a.m. But they'll be out in the neighborhood likely by about 9:40 and entering the neighborhood probably about 9 a.m. or so, depending on how quickly they get out of the school campus and enter the neighborhood. And so that is my request for you this evening, and happy to answer any questions.
You're gonna use the entrance or across the school property to get into Kinsey Heights instead of going out on the Mapleville Road?
Correct, yes, we did pull out of the Maple and Main Avenue, we're just gonna use Campus Ave.
I don't see where that would be a problem, but do you have a way you're gonna notify the residents in Kinsey Heights?
Yes, so we will go door to door the week before the 5K and put a flyer in all of the doors to let them know that this is scheduled and when they can anticipate the additional traffic coming through.
I was gonna suggest to you use the school's cross-country, but now that you say you have handicap
We try to keep it
students, you're
accessible.
gonna have to keep it lot level and cross-country is slowly and a lot of, so that would be rough on some of those kids. Chief, or I'm sorry, Sarge and Tom, do you all have any questions concerning that day or concerns or anything? No. How about the councilman?
Who is it you have, it's gonna be in Kinsey Heights? Like Somebody watching for traffic? for
Yes,
this?
so we have volunteer course marshals, and so we have a group of volunteers that will often come out to volunteer at our 5K events. We've typically held them around different places in the county, and we're really excited to be able to do this here in Boonesboro this year. And so many of them are runners already, and so they'll do direct in traffic. If there's any cars pulling out, they'll be able to make sure that there's enough safe distance.
That shouldn't last any more than an hour or 2 hours at the most.
At the most, the full course should take about an hour, but we anticipate they'll be out of the neighborhood by 9:40.
Oh, okay.
It'll be probably about a half hour, again, at the most, depending on if we have some
That's-
walkers.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
But I would think you have to have volunteers, right, to help.
Yeah,
with
you would,
that.
Yeah, because there's no stop sign from Landfield Circle off of Maple. There's no stop sign right there where they cross over.
Right.
So that's the only concern that I have.
But they're not going out on Maple at all, though.
No, but the straight through from crosses there.
I got it.
path. Yeah.
That's where people come in off of Maple, correct? Yes. Yeah, that would be probably your major concern.
To make sure
People
that there's
going in and
there.
out. Yes.
Well, we're gonna support this. I mean, you can certainly put something on the website. I mean, we can advertise that this event's gonna be happening. I mean, the fact that you're gonna go do door to door is fine. But I mean, we can certainly give it some PR so that the residents know what's going on.
We use our alert system for that. You know, it's not an emergency, but do we have a non-emergency alert
No, we don't.
ability through our alert
I think
system?
it's
It
mostly
doesn't just for alarm.
for emergencies. Yeah.
I don't see a problem.
Do I have a motion to give this?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion, questions, concerns? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstain, motion carries. Do you have a rain date?
We do not. We are rain or shine.
Or shine?
So let's hope for sunshine.
Good luck. Where the weather's been. Welcome.
Hi, well, thank you. We have lots of handouts for you all. I have to ask you all to share these, because I didn't print quite enough.
We just started.
Almost
half of our audience.
I'll share these, but I do have enough of these.
Man, everybody must come see Miss Coffee.
I put the bookmark, there's a little bookmark in there that opens straight to the Boonesboro page.
Okay.
You can read through all of it if you'd like. Figured that would be of most interest. Okay, well, Mayor, Council, thank you so much for allowing me to come and speak with you all tonight. The reason why I'm here this evening, well, let me rewind. My name is Jenny Vegas. I'm the Executive Director of the Washington County Free Library, which includes the Boonesboro Library here in Boonesboro. And as we prep for the 2025 to 2030 strategic plan, I'm going to all local jurisdictions that have our libraries in them and to talk to the councils and ask a couple of questions and just hear feedback as we build the strategic. So I have a couple of questions. Feel free to kind of go off course from that or really anything I can answer. I'm happy to do so. But the questions I have are, what do you love about your library here in Boonesboro? And what would you love to see happen here? And any programs or events that you've seen in the past or in other localities that you'd love to see in your community?
I've taken my grandkids to these, and it's very nice,
Oh,
all the
thank you.
different ages. Okay, I know, I'm happy that they help sponsor us to keep our movie nights going, like, the, okay, you know, too, yeah.
I'll just say that we started recently attending some of the master gardeners that have been coming out. So that's a nice little event that's maybe had been going on, I don't know, but we've been to a couple so far. And there's another one coming up that I know we're gonna go to as well, so.
It should be in there.
Yeah.
I like to still have books.
We do still have this, and it's a big part of the brand.
What's the origin of the term free library? Where'd that? why would it come
That's a
from?
really good question. Why are we a free library versus a public library? A lot of it has to do with the fact that we're so old. So we were chartered in 1898, back when that was what they were called. So we're the second oldest library system in the entire country, if you didn't know that. So there's a couple other facts I'll throw at you, which are super impressive. The library stop symbol that you see on highways and roads, that was actually designed in Hagerstown in the 60s. So that's something pretty big claim to fame. And we're the first library in the nation to actually have a bookmobile. So that's a really big part of our heritage. So I know our bookmobile manager, Laura, is from Boonesboro. Is pretty big in that as well. So yeah, there's a lot of great things happening. But that's why, it's just because it's so old. Any other
Yes, sir.
questions?
I'm the planner for the town of Boonesboro. We're working on our comprehensive plan.
Yes.
One of the areas of the comprehensive plan is community resources and things of that nature. Does y'all's long-term plan have any intentions to expand or need to expand?
I would say,
You don't have to give me a strict, it's as we're doing our comp plan, I'm going to actually be sending you a letter and asking
oh, wonderful.
what the needs are going
That's
to
a
be.
good thing. It's a good thing to think about. The Boonesboro Library is relatively new, so I'm not sure in any type of immediate planning that I can tell you. I can tell you, yes, I mean, eventually, it's our second largest, or our third largest use library within the county outside of Hagerstown and Smithsburg. So there's a lot of use and a lot of love for the library. So I would love to see it get expanded, but I don't know if I'd use the word need right in this moment.
You'll be surprised if you get a letter from the planning department just saying, hey, what are your long-term needs, just so that
I
they're aware.
would love to be able to. So if there's no more questions, my contact information is pretty, I want to say it's in there somewhere, but if you need any, if you need me at all, I need you to stand at the Hagerstown Library. I appreciate your thoughts. I'll pass these along to my staff there. And if you think of anything else in the future, please don't hesitate to reach out. And hopefully I get to come back and see you before the next one. Thank you so much.
Thank you. EDC.
Good evening.
The gentleman told me I was first on behalf of the Boonesboro Town Alliance. So just to give you guys an update, because it's kind of been that's what you told me.
I did, but I was going to introduce you.
Oh, Ron Humble, for those who don't know me, currently the president of the BTA. And to give you guys a brief update, because it's been an ongoing process. Speaking with our accountant over the past 2 weeks, filing our taxes. There's a form, it's Form 1023, and not that that means anything specific to you, but it's federal form, and it was explained to me that once that's accepted by the federal government, then that's just something we forward to the state, and then they accept us as a nonprofit. The time frame for that, he said it should be about 2 or 3 weeks for approval, final approval for us. So that's pretty much all I have, just to update you guys on what our status is.
So figure on 4.
Or 5. But that's what I was told, so, yeah, that way you know what we are right now.
Yeah, let's hope it goes through.
Yes, I'm crossing my fingers.
Oh, you're working with Michelle, that's the county.
Yes, yep, yeah, I spoke with John, he called me this morning, as a matter of fact.
That's good news to hear, Ron.
Yes, it is.
So that's one of the hurdles that we have to
I
face.
was gonna say you can take your shades off. we may.
Oh, yeah, well, I left my glasses at home and used a prescription,
Oh,
so the
okay.
only way I can see here tonight.
You can come up front. if you like.
Well, he threw me off my game. I did tell him to go first because we were picking up where you left off with Terry and you wanted to know the status of the BTA moving forward. So we're there, inch by inch, we're getting there. I'd also like to acknowledge Tyler Hornbecker and Rhea Yearly, as members of the EDC and the BTA, and support the Main Street Maryland program. So it's time. We've been talking about this for a while now. When Boonesboro became a sustainable Maryland certified, that gave us the leverage that we needed to follow file this application. So we jumped in, learned what we needed to know, and realized quickly that the Main Street affiliation might just be too much for us to take on at the time. So there was an affiliation status or a lower status tier that we could become a part of. There are some criteria that I think you're concerned with, and that is it will require a part-time person at 20 to 25 hours a week. The wage was $30 an hour. We're there, our application is ready to go. The last component of that is your letter of your letter recommending that we move forward with the designation.
Because if you go in front of that.
Yay,
that's
hi.
been recording for a while.
So this is where we are now. We need your letter to move forward with the application process. The application process is probably going to take about a month, and it's going to come in alignment with the BTA's nonprofit status. There, in all honesty, there's going to be a time period where the town is going to have to cover that salary. We have $10,000 in our budget designated for this until we can get up and going. But I do just think the time is now. When we look around us, all the other communities that are Main Street affiliate, it's very competitive. And we don't want to lose our edge. We have people watching us. We have the largest farmers market in Washington County. We have best parks in Washington County. We want to keep that momentum going. And you're working with a volunteer base. And these are the little things that we look at to gauge our success and the success of the town, but we cannot sustain it. We are volunteers. And as the town grows and as we move forward with the comprehensive plan, you think that this program might only benefit businesses, but it's the businesses that are the backbone of this town. I don't know how many times a sports team or dance troupe comes into a local business and asks for money for their fundraisers. So it's just this continual cycle, and we all need each other. So tonight we'd like to move forward with your support with our resolution to become part of a Main Street affiliate.
And I was going to speak on behalf of that as well. You know, when you look at volunteerism and the people that are involved, I mean, you've got Terry and Natoma who donate an inordinate amount of time to all the projects in town. And it really appears this is the natural next step, because you look at that position not as an expense, but as an investment. That position would be, say, grant writing, for instance. They could write grants where it's bringing the town money that would cover and exceed what that salary would be. Now, granted, the BTA down the road will be part of that and accept, you know, that position once we're up and running and once, you know, we have money coming in. But with everything that's going on with all of our different commissions, from a volunteer standpoint, it's just taking a lot of time on our behalf. Like I said, Terry and Natoma, I mean, I wouldn't even want to try to think about how many hours they spend of their own time volunteering for the town. And that position, I think, is a necessity for our town to move forward. And I mean, I think the benefits are going to be extensive for the town by having that position available.
And we want continuity for these events. And so we have a person, well, for events, for everything, we want a point person. And that's also going to alleviate some of the things that your staff does. And because they're getting bogged down with what we do, and hence we have a liaison now. By also applying for or getting this affiliation, it's going to allow us opportunities for more grants. Grants for a beautification project moving forward, grants for the staffing. There is a $10,000 guarantee to pay that staff member, leaving us with $20,000 within the community to find out how to pay that. So between the BTA, the EDC, fundraising efforts, I don't think we'll have any problem. And it's a comfortable level for us until we get We have a lot going on this year, you know. The Civil War, the Heritage Museum is going to be opening up this year, and we're hoping to create a visitor center there. We have the DNR project at the top of the hill. So there's lots of reasons for visitors to come here, and when they come, they spend money. When they spend money, we benefit. And so we just want to keep this going, and we don't want to lose the momentum.
Council, you have a motion to give them permission for me to sign a letter towards the.
Is this included in the budget?
So, yeah, just
The letter is,
just to get some clarification, hold on for just a second there. We did put in FY '25 for the Main Street Maryland program, $12,800.
That's gonna cover the salary.
and then we designated 10 from our budget toward the cause.
Okay, so that gets you up to
But
28.
again,
Up to
that's back
20.
to having a problem with it, like who's hiring?
Then we get the certification, then we can apply for 10 toward the salary.
Right. So,
So what we need is a letter of resolution from the town and council supporting the event, or supporting the designation.
Who signs that? The paper that you have, the application?
Oh,
Is it the town alliance or is it the town of?
the EDC is submitting the application. I believe Terry showed it to you at the last meeting.
We just got it like hours before we had a meeting, so none of us.
Terry has shown you that, I'm certain that there's been a visual presentation of the application, because at the time you requested that the photograph of the house be removed.
Yes.
Yes, so there was.
But is it under the name of the town of Boonesborough or is it under the town alliance?
It's being filed under the EDC of Boonesborough.
So would I be the one to sign it or would?
So that would mean
It would be we need a letter, just like we did for the
Oh, just a
Appalachian.
letter of support.
Just like we did for the Appalachian Trail Advisory Committee. The town supports the application moving forward. Could you help me here for a second?
Yes.
If we did get the designation, we still have an opportunity to forego it, right?
You can always turn it down, yeah.
So if it gets to the point where everybody's uncomfortable, we can turn it down. But I just think that we started this in '22, it's the middle of '24. It's starting to look awkward. Well, do they want to do it? They've been here, we've done an interview, we had them do a walking tour. They're excited to bring Boonesborough on board. And we would like to be on board too.
To answer that question, I wrote that letter for the Appalachian Trail, so and that was just Howard signing. So, and that was just our letter of support for the
Does our town attorney need to look at this before the town signs anything like that?
Well, we're not signing a contract
We're not
with Main
signing it.
Street,
It's just-
Maryland. We're just asking that for the town council and mayor to support the program, support our application.
If we do send them a letter of support, that we're in support of them going to the Boonesborough Alliance, that doesn't guarantee that they're going to become one. It just shows that we, the town council, supports them going that route. It does help them, it gives them an extra check mark, but it doesn't guarantee them that they're going to get it. But it helps them immensely. If we don't give them a letter, then that's a bigger concern for them to get their town alliance.
But I just think that we're at a pivotal point with Boonesborough. I mean, particularly with this 10-year plan hovering over us and the growth that you want, what do you want your town to look like? We aren't going to be here to help you with that vision for lots of reasons, so, you know.
This is an natural progression. It's a growing town. This is an natural progression.
Do we have a motion to
Sounds like Mary Lee.
Well, I guess, but one of my concerns is this is on as a presentation like under death. It wasn't on like an agenda item to vote on that we knew what exactly was coming to do. You know what I mean?
We're not voting on anything contractual, this is just.
Right, and I understand
Support,
that.
support their endeavors, so this is not a contractual binding with the town hall.
Will this change once the town lines gets here?
My biggest concern is, I don't know that we're ready to obligate to hire a person. You know what I mean? Because then hiring a person, then is a whole new world. And then if you guys are gonna pay half, like, that becomes a whole gray area that we would need some advice as to how that would work.
What are the guidelines within
You know,
this?
especially without grant funding to at least get it started, to know, exactly how the benefit's gonna work.
We're not asking you to do that, we're not asking you to.
I know,
hire you to do anything.
But when we're accepted and they get accepted, then that's part
They'll
of the
come back to us and we
contractual
can,
thing that we
once
have
they know,
to
then we
do.
can say no.
We can say no.
So I guess, that's just, I guess, my biggest concern.
This
right
is
now.
just.
We
to
didn't
get-
fund a whole position.
We like what you do, the town would like you to go explore it and come back.
What was it that you just said, Ray?
I forget. It was good, whatever. Great.
It's just allowing us to explore it.
Yeah.
If we didn't accept it,
You to
get
go-
more
we're
information.
saying we support you to go out and try to put this together and come back to us when you got it put together.
We've got to put it together. The application is ready to submit. This is a missing component.
So do we,
We want to.
so we want to do a letter of support to help them. We need a motion to give them a letter of support to apply for it. Doesn't mean they're gonna get it, or we're gonna get it, it's just to apply for it.
And that gives the dust a chance to settle to see if we
Right.
get it.
And if we can
BTA,
work it out.
and
If the
we're
local
already
government
talking
supports-
$20,000 has been approved for the,
Well, not really.
Not really,
And
but-
we've got-
We have half of that, you have the other half. So I would make a
Again, that's
motion.
where we get into that gray area that we need sorted out and defined.
I would make a motion that we do the letter of support. But we need to have a business plan moving forward before we do anything else if you are approved.
That's a good motion.
How's that?
okay,
I mean, I can't make it any better than that because we need to have the business plan.
All right.
Because if the town's gonna be involved, if we're gonna be expected to fund part of this, if you all are gonna be fundraising and however the BTA is gonna work, but I'll make the motion, like I said, to do letter of support, but then we need a funding plan moving forward if you get accepted.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a
does
second?
that
to what
seem
Tony
like a
said?
reasonable thing?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second.
Right.
Discussion, yeah. Just because we're applying for this, correct me if I'm wrong, Ron, doesn't mean we're gonna get it.
Correct,
Right.
right.
But
If
you
we don't
just
get
need
that letter,
You just need the letter of support from the town to apply for it.
To,
And then once, if it's accepted, then we have to work out the details.
then there are gonna be contracts for us to sign and I
Yes,
want to know where the
yes.
money's
So
gonna
there's
be.
no contracts being signed until after all of this is accepted.
Well, and
And
if
then it'll have to go to their attorney and all.
I mean, essentially, if we don't have support by the town
Yeah.
to
you're-
become mainstream, we're not gonna get
We're
it.
not gonna get it. That's correct.
You know, and I think
We
it's-
have a motion and a second. Everybody understand what they're voting on? And does anybody else have any questions besides what I just said? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstain. Motion carries.
Well,
Thank you for your support.
You get it wrote up and I'll read it and sign it.
Okay, it's pretty cookie cutter.
I know, I figured it was probably already read.
It was, yeah, just fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think that this is gonna be a good thing for all of us.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, guys.
Public Works, Greg?
I'll start on the water distribution side. The month of April was pretty bad. We had like a leak every single week, the whole month. It's probably the worst year since I've been here. So we spent a whole bunch of money. And then we're gonna have to spend like another 15,000 to get all these patches put back together. So you guys are aware. Probably close to, he was up there at one, we're supposed to 500,000 gallon left coming out of one. And it was running straight down into the storm drain on Main Street.
Now, that guy comes around from, with the leak detections, one that
He
called.
found some of them, yeah. One minute, then another one he found on Main Street was actually a dry hole. I've seen two in my life since I've been here. It happens. He was hearing the water cutting the 90 at a turn, but I mean, it happens. But the rest of them, he did do pretty good. The sewer collection side, everything's been great. Here, I need y'all's okay on these couple of these public works things. Schoolhouse court, we installed 4x4 posts up there 10, 15 years ago. You remember Mary Lee, when they were going donuts up there?
Oh, yeah.
But we since have filled the lot with trees. And now the 4x4 posts and chain are in bad shape. So my recommendation is take them out. If not, you're gonna spend $1,000, put everything back the way it should be.
It'll make it easier to
That'd
know.
make it easier.
Yeah, it'd probably make the price go down a little bit. They won't have to weed eat all.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll get rid of them. The next thing is the swing set. Councilmember Malley brought to my attention that one of the galvanized pipes on the swing set between 5 and 6 was in bad shape. So I will start, it's galvanized, any place to rust. So I take down to the bottom where it goes into concrete, it's in rough shape, so we pulled the whole swing set.
Oh, yeah.
So I know it's okay to put back what's there. They're around $3,000 for, it's just a 4 swing.
Before you think about a swing set, just I'll comment. The older kids come there on the way home from school and do not swinging on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know if the police is nervous, but, you know, I mean, they wrap them up, you know, and that's normally, if I see them, I'll go down and say, make sure you unwrap them so the kids can use them when you come down, especially because I'm a short mother and I can't reach them to unwrap them for my kids. But I don't know whether there would be
Something else.
another piece of equipment that might be, that they wouldn't maybe irritate as much, you know, because I have noticed there's been less hanging there because the swings weren't there for them to hang and gather around now. I'm sure they're gathering and hanging somewhere else that you guys have to swing to them, but.
No, they're definitely not, since the swing set hasn't been there, there's not much activity. up
Yeah,
there.
I mean, yeah, and there's a camera there, but, you know,
How about
I'm
we
just
just give a
saying,
cardboard
thought,
the
you
little
know.
playground equipment and let you guys pick.
I told him that that was coming.
Do they swing sets get used a lot?
Kids on that,
Yeah,
they can't get on and wrap
they
them
get
up.
there, like they used the fighting word gone now.
The insurance company may take that out years ago.
You know what I mean? Like I said, but I do know that there's plenty of parents that do use the swings
Yes.
there because there's also the little shaded gazebo where they can kind of sit. you
Nice
know.
to upgrade now. Now you get.
Yeah, I just, you know, the big kids do come and, you know.
So they wrap those in their.
Oh, yeah, they, you know, sit there and swing the chains around. so
They would like
can
to
get
see
around.
swings.
Or they just wrap them.
Oh, some people wrap them to the whole top, not just to be
What's it
short.
called to
but wrap
replace
them
that?
completely up.
$3,000.
That's fine. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
but-
said something about that.
Fred, what's that other, place, that thing that y'all put in over there?
It's like an upside down merry-go-round.
Does anybody even use
They
it?
get on it. I see some kids on there spinning pretty fast. I mean, they'll get out there where their bodies are like this.
Oh, yeah, the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, okay.
I set my kids on top of it, spin it really fast. They love it. It's
Yeah, they do.
It's a ride. It's good fun.
Keep the insurance policy paid, please.
Can you get their
Sometimes you might as well let them have fun.
for the new budget?
Absolutely.
And the one,
Y'all just give Kim.
We should have money left over someplace
Oh,
in this
Oh,
fiscal
we
year.
use,
to get them
we
out.
can use
Yeah.
part, yeah.
and the one that's down there that I think has only two swings on it, you can see the bow in it from people doing chin-ups through the years.
They make them now where you get wheelchairs, which we should have. You can put wheelchairs up on them.
But we do have that handicap.
One more thing, we got the deadwood leaves done in the park. We put this thing out for bid every year. Last year it made $1,600. You want me to put it back out for bid again? We have a disease down there right now. It's killing all the tulip trees. Jeff, the park board member, actually brought it to my attention when we said we can get the guys to spray it and de-limb at the same time. We got some pretty big dead limbs way up in the sycamore trees.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, for 10,000.
I know, I'm saying we have, since I've been here, we put it out for bid every year. And it comes in like, last year it was like $1,600.
There was a couple of trees down there that had the little mites on them.
That's what, so this price might be a little more than $1,600 this year because they have to treat them. It's called scales, what Jeff was
Yeah.
telling me. It's on the tulip trees.
If it comes in
Keys must have.
at 25, just let us know, but I mean, you should be well within your range.
As long as you got money in the park.
Yeah.
That and the handicap pavilion's finished. Very nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
And we received the check for the reimbursement for that today.
But they take care of all them sharp edges on it. There was some on.
Because they wrapped the whole thing.
They have lug. Yeah,
I'll look at it. They wrapped all of it. Our old one was just solid wood.
well,
They actually wrapped this whole thing, so we don't have to paint it. nothing.
okay. Because there was a few, and down there where they didn't mow, there was stuff, there was some scrap metal on the ground and stuff that I noticed.
I'll check it out. I smoked yesterday. I didn't see it.
Okay, if it's not, if you mowed there, it's.
Well, Friday.
But it's not there. This was last month, when we did our walkthrough.
That's all I
Greg,
have.
I have a couple things. We were talking to Jeff Davidson the other week when we were down for the park cleanup. And he was saying that when we have our large events down there, the carnival, Boonesboro Days, that you all had cars being parked over the walkway that comes from the police department up.
Yes, they use that as a parking lot. They got it wore down. They got the grass wore down in there.
He said they were actually over on the other side. They're not supposed to drive across that, number one, because it's a special type of paving.
Pervious paving.
Exactly. So do we need to set up a fencing, no parking? Do we need?
I caution take it off last year.
It was brought to my attention last year, and I think I got a hold of you.
Yeah, you and Rick Stevens contacted me. I caution take it off.
Okay.
Get me on, we don't have that many police, but start writing people tickets. I mean, I caught a guy parked on it the other day, sitting right there on the middle of the walking track. What are you doing?
Okay.
He said, why did you drop something off at the pavilion? I'm like, there's a parking lot right there.
Walk.
I've seen them drive through there between the buildings. Yeah.
That is, that's
We've
pervious
seen
paving. It's
them
paved
too.
like tractors, and that's it.
Yeah.
I've seen actual vehicles drive through there.
What would it be to put some signs up there, walkway, no, do not drive on it or something like that? There should be signs that we can put up on those.
I mean,
Keep people off of
they
it.
go across the pathway and park in between the trees.
That's what Jeff was telling us.
Carnival's the worst. I mean, that's.
Yeah, that's when it's really.
Yeah.
So I guess we just need to make sure that we
Keep it
put
off.
some
Yeah.
fencing up, some caution tape, get it up well before, because the carnival's coming.
Yeah.
So,
Can we use the police cars that we're not using to
There you go.
Yeah.
park it off somehow?
Sure,
Good
sure.
idea.
sure,
Yep, go ahead.
just fence it off.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
You got my cars.
Yeah, but
I'd take up a long ways.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be great.
Get with it, just get with Amy, let us know where you want them at.
Okay, all right.
That sounds great.
All right.
That works good.
Chick Readers also, you got the Carnival, Chick Reader finished 90% of, he's got like one more plug to put in for Mary Jane and he's finished.
Okay.
You know he has the dental.
Yes,
Yes,
he's, you know Chick Reader.
Well, he's been working down.
He finished all the power. Mary Jane wanted an outlet put in for that. Remember she saying they couldn't run the air conditioner for the band, so he's got to put the one camper outlet in on the band show he's done.
Okay. I know you spoke to me and said that the bathroom down at the Boy Scout building, that bathroom location cannot be winterized because of the
You
inside.
can, it just costs more money. If you plan on putting heat and air conditioning, that whole top of that thing's vented. It's got
Okay.
vents around the whole inside.
So the price that you got is for the restroom up here at Pavilion 2.
The one they just remodeled. Yes.
Okay, so that's the one that we're gonna try to move forward with.
Yeah.
Okay, so the one down there, if you get a price on that, let me know, because like you said, it's gonna be more.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna keep that bathroom open all year round.
Yeah,
I'm generous.
we will.
You know, you're just asking for homeless people and people.
Not at night. Just like it
It's gonna
does.
be like,
like it-
it'll be locked at dusk when the park is closed.
But it is nice because when we have those pretty days in November.
Right.
You know what I mean? People like to rest. If you're having people doing the walking, touring things and promoting the tourism, it's nice to have a restaurant for someone.
My next question, coming out behind,
I don't remember voting on that.
That was it was brought up last April.
coming out behind Edward Jones and the pizza shop in the parking lot
Mhm.
into Reader's Alley. We need to have signs up there that say one way and which way the one way goes. People are exiting out there all the time and they're turning left.
Going up towards your brothers.
Well,
Because they're
Well, yeah.
getting people to come to the place, the business, so they don't
Yeah.
know it's on.
Yeah, because there's one out on Toby Street. You just want one up a little
Right.
further so they can see it.
No,
well, yeah, the one on
Thomas
Montgomery Street,
said
once
he
you're
might
inside, you don't know it.
Yeah, you
And if
can't.
you're coming in from Young Avenue and you pull in that parking lot, so you get turned around and leave, you don't know there's a one-way street going.
That's easy enough. Just put one way over there. It's fine.
So can we get a one-way sign or something up there, please?
Just let me know how many you need.
What else did I have?
I don't know, I marked the bird stuff, so you don't mow it across the street from me.
Yeah.
It's there every year.
Did you see it?
Yeah. I think that was it. Thank you.
That's me. Yep, unless somebody else has something. Yeah. Good, thank you, Greg. Pete?
On the sewer side, we're, everything's running pretty smooth. I did have 2 pumps fail this past week though. I have to get them repaired. Other than that, everything's running pretty smooth. Shouldn't be that expensive, it's just small pumps. On the water side, everything's running pretty smooth too. Brian did come, Phillips did come and hooked the well up, ran it for 7 days and did get some of the testing done. So now we gotta wait a month before we can do it again. We'll probably.
Is this a dry test or a wet test?
I would say with all the rain that was happening last week, it was probably a wet test. So we need 7 days of dry before we can do a dry test.
Carnival week now.
Yeah.
It's coming. The wet week.
Yeah, and he is gonna come and take everything back apart for the carnival. And then when the carnival's over, he'll bring it back and put it back in. It's gonna take us a month before we do testing again anyways. So he offered today about taking it out, and surely it'd probably be best to get it out.
Oh, we can wait now.
You won't have to wear it out then. So, other than that, everything's running good and smooth, so we're doing good.
How was Ocean City?
It was fun.
Learn a lot?
Yeah, there's a lot of new technology down there today. I got a lot of new cards and a lot of stuff. A lot of salesmen coming around and talk to me, so.
How's our dewatering press?
It's doing good. It's still pretty much in the same position we were last month. We're just waiting for them to come do their final little touch-ups they gotta do and stuff. They're gonna have to, I guess, come start getting ready to do the blacktop, put the fence up, finish doing a couple other odds and ends on the low electrical stuff. But we're running it. We can run it now. But right now, also, I called MDE about a permit. After talking to him, when I talked to him the last time, he said he had to go through, do some more stuff, so figured out. But I called him last week before I left, and I haven't got them call back yet. So I'm trying to hope we can go ahead and get the permit issued to us, and we can go ahead and start using it.
Think we get it up and running sometime in June?
Oh, it's already up and running.
Yeah, I mean.
But
once
I'm hoping to
we-
have, get our permit by then, so we can go legally and start running it.
Thank you, Pete. Anybody have any other questions of Pete? Now plan. Drew?
Everybody tonight. So y'all got around reports. Again, I'm not gonna read reports to you. They're in there. One item not in my report that did come up while I was reviewing plans for Fletcher's Grove, but I just wanted to bring to the council's attention and get some direction. We all know that Fletcher's Grove, Chase 6, we're doing the realignment, we're getting the road there. The one thing that came out when we were looking at that is the council, I think, should take a look at Chase 6 Boulevard from the light to where the road ends, and maybe have some traffic engineer look at that. You want to have the section of the boulevard that is currently being maintained by the town. You probably want that all restriped at the same time you do the intersection at Mapleville. And the reason I say that is Chase 6 right now is a dead-end road. It is a massive cul-de-sac. The day that that intersection opens, that traffic on that street is gonna fundamentally change. I think the council and Councilman Kitchen suggested maybe the planning commission take a look at this and make some recommendations to the council, but it's something that I think we should be in front of and not behind, because you're probably gonna get a lot of comments from residents too. And there's enough room out there, I measured it today, you can put turn lanes in. There's really no reason to do that today. There's absolutely none. And I haven't even talked to Greg about this, but if we want to do anything, we want to look at this and decide what do you want through there?
See where Drew's talking about coming in off of Mapleville Road as you're going in. There's gonna be a lot of traffic to turn into Wise.
Right.
So you wanna have a left turn lane into Wise and another lane that can go around them. Because you're gonna get a lot of tractor trailers and delivery trucks for groceries, sodas, all kinds of vehicles coming in off of Mapleville Road in that way. Because that way they won't have to pull that sharp turn into traffic light. So this way it keeps traffic moving, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a turn lane there coming into Wise.
Well, what I would suggest is that the council give consideration. You do have money in your planning and zoning budget for these type of things. to look at the entire road as if it was done. Would you want turning lanes for the townhouses, the single families, Weiss? You're gonna have turning lanes coming in both directions now, not just in one side,
Right.
because they'll stack. But one of the things why I'm suggesting we get a traffic engineer is we need to estimate the amount of traffic that's gonna be there, because they have to determine how long the stacking lines are.
Yep.
Otherwise, they'll back up and create traffic on there. All I'm trying to do is get out in front of this, not behind it when we're dealing with traffic complaints and things like that. So,
How about the homeowners association? Should we like present that in a meeting with them?
Yes.
We don't have like a whole.
absolutely, and I just did a presentation last month to the Fletcher's Grove. So I have to contact people, but again, reaching out to them as you know, everybody's gonna know it's coming, right? This is not gonna be a surprise. I'm just
Right, but I
saying.
mean, before we strike turn lines and things, we should probably have some local input, because it's gonna affect.
Exactly. That way, my idea would be is that as they're striping the intersection down there for State Highway, it just comes through the whole area. Everybody's aware of it, and you address the issue. So, I mean, it will be a change in traffic patterns. That always causes a problem. I'm sorry. You do the best you can. You advertise it. You know, you paint it with really good bright lines, and you hope everybody kind of figures it out. So the only question that I really have for the council is, would you like the planning commission to look at this and make recommendations back to the council? Technically, it's your road. It's not really a planning issue, but if you want, planning does deal with transportation issues. So y'all's plates are full. If you want the planning commission to look at it, give you a recommendation, happy to do that. Or if you all want to tackle it yourselves, that's up to you.
No, I think it's a good idea.
Any other questions on the zoning or planning reports?
So Drew, you want to put that on the agenda for the next meeting? then?
I am. I need to send Dave Pomeroy a draft agenda tomorrow, so I'll include that on there.
Yeah, I'll just scribble some notes too.
Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Thank you all.
That's it. Thank you.
Police department, Dave, so you got the reports from Amy, so, everything's holding pretty steady. We extended 2 job offers, over the past several weeks. One to Sergeant Whittington at Washington County, Sheriff's Office, who accepted. He's working on his background, Amy,
I have it, yeah,
as of now.
yeah.
So his probably prospective starting date's probably around the 10th of July, because he's going to retire in July. So somewhere around the 10th of July. And then we're processing the MTAC security guard, William Gilbert. He has his polygraph CVSA on this Thursday, the 16th, and on Monday, the 20th, he has his psychological.
Psychological, yeah.
So, question on reader. Reader's been an issue since I've been here. What about one-way stop strips? They got them in all the national parks or in all the airports. Somebody goes the wrong way, they got 4 flat tires. I mean, why not? Well, like I said, all national parks, if you go in the wrong side or out the wrong side, they have all airports.
Well, we have a new attorney now. She may be all right. Bill once would have had a hard time.
I agree. If you have a sign up saying one-way stop strips, you're saying they're there. You go across them.
Good idea.
Welcome to $1,200 in new tires.
I'm gonna tell you, Terry, somebody's gonna get hurt up there.
Yeah, it's been, I mean, I've been here 6 years. And
I
It's been a problem the whole time I've been here.
Well, yeah, and the more I walk, I mean, God help me, I mean, the more I walk through town, the more I see things like that.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, it's been an ever-going
But
issue.
then what
since
if
I've-
we have something happen on Main Street where we've got to send traffic that way? I mean, then you gotta, what are you gonna do?
I'm sure there could be disabled.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm sure there could be almost like a traffic signal. Police can operate traffic signals. So I don't understand why police wouldn't have
You can
access.
either
to all.
manually lower them like stop sticks, or the stop sticks you can manually raise and lower, so you probably have a key to it. and
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
Or some of them are just drove into the ground with spikes and you pull them up.
yeah.
If the council gives us permission, we'll throw stop sticks out on Main Street throughout the day.
readers.
Such a speed.
Yeah.
We'll just stack them up at the shop, and Greg can just throw them out as he's going by.
Well, we can let people throw them out if they want to use the crosswalk. they don't like to stop for our lights.
Tom's been hitting the crosswalk pretty hard,
Yes, he has.
so
Yeah.
hopefully he'll address that.
I noticed, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's, I watch it.
He's been hitting that pretty hard.
Oblivious to lights.
Anything
Well,
else, Dave?
yeah. I don't know, I guess, do we want to run by the attorney, what would be involved with stop sticks or
We can ask.
investigate costs and like, I'm with Terry though, we've got to
I
have.
think we ought to try signs first before we go that far.
We'll do the signs first. I think Drew must have experience with the way he's grant.
There's a lot of liability when you start doing that. You can do it. You absolutely can do it. But you'll fill this room with people with bills.
You can't fix
They
stupid.
will not be happy.
That's the whole problem. You can't fix stupid, but
And-
somebody's gonna get hurt.
But we'll do the signs first and see what's going on.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion, Dave. I like your idea.
Dave, it works 100%. It absolutely works.
I mean, I'm a certified sniper. You give me a roof, you can always go that.
Just shoot out your
Sniper on duty.
There you go.
Dave, this sergeant you got coming from Washington County.
Yeah.
Plan on bringing him in.
They've already settled on they're doing the 3 pays at 65. So he would come in at 65.
It's, he'd be the same as Tom, that officer first class.
Officer first class. Yeah.
So it's our lateral.
And then our new guy's gonna
He's not
start at
I wasn't here.
Yeah, he.
42.
I missed the meeting.
I don't remember. What was
20.
Billy was at 25? 20? Was it 20?
20.
20. And then bumped to 25 after he gets out of the academy.
Which puts him at 53. Yeah, it was like 42 throughout the academy, throughout FTO.
Yeah.
And then 53 when he was, so it'd be a year.
Not 53.
42,000.
Yeah, 53.
I don't know where you met the young man or not, but I really have confidence that he's gonna turn out to be another Tom.
Oh, I
Are
think
you talking the MTAC guy?
Yes, Billy.
I met him at the fishing derby. Very nice guy.
Yeah, he stuck with me right with me through the swap. Stood right there with me the whole time, the whole time.
Yeah, he helped us out. We got what, about 3/4 of a container?
Yeah.
Started out slow, but it
Yeah.
ended up.
We had a little bit of a disturbance in the park today and he was right there and dealt with it. I mean, he's a really good guy.
Now, I do think Robbie's gonna put in for chief when you guys put the announcement out for chief as well.
Who's that?
Robbie Whittington, the sergeant.
The sergeant.
I do think he's gonna put in for that as well, just to be interviewed, so that's something to,
What's the rookie's name?
Is that Robbie Whittington?
No, the rookie is Billy.
Billy.
He goes by,
William Gilbert's his name, but Billy.
goes by Billy.
Anybody else have anything, chief?
That academy would start June 17th too.
So do we need to?
17th or 19th.
Like, yeah, it's a Monday.
Yeah. I missed the last meeting that was doing.
No,
That's
Well, we're not to that point yet. He's got to get through the rest of his evaluation before we know.
Yeah.
to the
I'm
academy.
saying, if
Right,
you
but we don't have
pass,
the
we've got a
meeting.
spot saved in the academy.
You got a slot.
Yeah.
That's Washington.
Yes.
Do I have a
We
motion?
need to have a
Yeah.
motion for that.
Do I have a motion to accept the new police officer and put Billy through?
Do we have one?
Yes,
Yeah,
we do.
yes.
Yes, and yes.
We're under this budget, Mary Lee.
So are we not?
Yeah, no.
In budget.
Putting Billy through the academy.
Now, is he gonna sign a
Yeah.
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
Okay.
He agreed to it.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion that we extend the hire to Sergeant Whittington and that we accept William Gilbert and put him into the academy, provided he goes through all of his other requirements.
With a contract.
Contract.
With a contract.
And I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
When are you gonna post, chief?
We're gonna-
We have that on the
Okay.
agenda.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, that's the only part.
Yeah.
Anybody have any other things to bring forward or updates or correspondence to the mayor and council? Okay, moving on to new business ordinance, 2401 fiscal year 2025 budget, tax rate, sanitation rate, and water and sewer fixed fees. We had a public hearing. We had one person in attendance. Thank you for coming. And we had a presentation done and gone over. So, council? do
So
I-
no, you didn't have any comments?
No comments at all. Do I have a motion to accept ordinance 24-01 fiscal year 2025 budget?
I'll make a motion that we accept the ordinance 2024-01, the FY25 budget.
And I'll second.
We have a second. Any discussion?
We could mention, Melody, group of us met with Jason about our pool fund, and we can fill in some more.
Yeah, I was
on that.
gonna
It went
say,
very well, but that's kind of not.
We're gonna do that in June.
Do we have a motion and a second? Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, abstain, motion carries.
And may I just make one other comment that we did talk with Jason as well, and any federal money that we expend in excess of $750,000, we'll have to have a special audit done, which will cost us about $15,000. So that's, it can come out of the ARPA money, but it's just, it's a separate audit that we are required to do. We didn't know about that until we met with Jason the other week as well, but we'll keep you up to date on all that moving forward.
Yeah, great point.
Called a single audit.
Yeah, we're gonna do it all at one time, so we only do one audit. Yes. Yes. No, you're good.
Okay, the next item, new hire and police academy agreement. We've already discussed that and passed that. Recommendation to advertise police chief employment vacancy. I think we all get Kim to put it out as soon as she can. How long do we want to run it for? Till the second week in June?
So we did the town manager for 4 weeks.
4 weeks. I mean, how long would 4 weeks be for this if we send it out?
The thing is, do we want to have something for the next?
The week of May or June 17th.
June 17th.
That'd be after.
That's a full 4 weeks.
So.
Wouldn't it be the
Long
10th?
enough, or is that too long?
I think it's 2, 3, 4. Yes, the 10th.
I think 2 weeks is sufficient personally. How about you?
Do you want to do to the end of the month?
I'm in agreement with whatever Dave says. Whatever Dave recommends is fine with me.
I agree with Dave. I think 2 weeks. is-
You can always extend it. You can always
Yeah,
extend
2
it.
weeks, everybody extend it, but we're kind of behind.
I feel like we've got
It's
applications.
critical position.
Because if you hire somebody, you figure interviews for a week, maybe 10 days, and
You're not gonna get anybody until
all right,
July.
July 1st. Yeah, so if you only run it for 2 weeks.
So we want to do May 28th?
Sounds good. I think
Okay.
that's fine. Yeah,
That's right during the carnival.
yeah, right after Memorial Day, so.
I mean, that's a lot.
End of the month.
Well, I mean, that's just
Just to
repeating
end the
that.
Okay, okay.
Where we're gonna advertise on it, just.
Carol Mail, MML, normal places.
And if you know of any place else that,
I mean, if you guys ever using, if you want to go like outside, I mean, Indeed. would be
right,
something,
right,
sure.
yeah, it usually
Yeah.
extends out.
That,
Okay.
you know, spreads
International
out.
Association Chiefs of Police. IACP, ever advertise for them?
I mean, you can, or you can request that they, you know,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, they usually. have it.
Let's keep it low.
What if we do till June 3rd? That's a full week before our next council meeting. You know what I mean? That gives them 3 whole weeks. It gives a little bit of time for somebody for Memorial.
Whatever you want to do.
We have names and all to look at before.
June 3rd.
So Kim or Amy, since this person wouldn't start until fiscal year 25, we would advertise at that new salary range, right? Which I forget what it is, high 80s to something, that for chief, it's something like high 80s.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, for chief, yeah.
What was it?
Yeah, I'd have to look at
Well,
the,
we have a personnel meeting Thursday, so let's
Yeah.
wrap that up then.
But we should advertise at the FY 25 new range, whatever that.
Yeah.
range is.
And just something to consider, I mean, if I would be looking for a job at 30+ years experience, I would be a little bit more concerned about time off and salary. And you're not gonna hurt yourselves if you offer somebody a cheap 4 weeks vacation. I mean, start them at 80 or whatever the low end of the pay scale is, but offer 4 weeks vacation. And then they start accruing on top of that. I just think it's gonna be a big deal. You're gonna get somebody in here that's got 25 plus years experience. The main thing they're gonna want y'all to do is take time off. And I don't mean not to be here.
Vacation,
Yeah.
weeks.
Yes. I think so. I mean, that, and again, you guys do it. I'm just, if it would be me,
Compensation.
Yeah.
That's great.
We'll probably do that anyway.
yeah, that would mean a lot more to me going into a new job than the absolute bottom line of the pay. So
Point well taken.
just something to think about.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So we need a motion, Howard, or we have one?
Well, we already got a date set for the 3rd.
Okay.
Now I'm making a
Just-
motion to do
Just
that.
make a
Everybody
note
seems to
on the
agree
personnel
on
meeting
June
that
3rd.
we need to
Do it.
wrap
Wanna
that
make a
up as
motion?
far as.
Yeah, go ahead, make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we advertise for chief of police position with a closing date of June 3rd.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, close the chief's date on June 3rd. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries. Okay, review of bids, 2024 milling and asphalt overlay. Greg?
We only received one bid, you guys did it, Huntsbury Brothers. It's like that every year. I contacted Hetzer, they're working for the state, Craig, who filled up for the year. Nobody wants to really work anymore.
Hey, Huntsbury always does a good job of it in the past years.
It's funny, but it's the truth.
I mean, I did my due diligence, I called.
Thank you.
So I can't
Thank
do
you.
more than
I
that.
want to talk to you sometime.
I'm down here 4 days this week.
All right.
Down here tomorrow for the election, Thursday, Friday for the wagon train,
Okay.
and then Saturday.
Okay. I'll pick you up with you sometime.
Okay, yeah, just text me.
Okay.
Everybody up there with, and they broke it down street by street.
Do you have a motion to accept the bid?
We'll do, how much is in that? I guess. it's mine. I mean,
Yeah.
Do we have enough money to do all of it? 'Cause
No.
It sounded like
No.
more than what we.
I asked Brian.
But now
last week.
we're back to that restricted funds account
Right.
has money in it that can be used toward paving. I just don't know what that number is.
There's a little over 340-some,000 there, Brian told me last week. For
That's what the bid
highway
is.
user funds.
Yeah.
There was a little over 340-something he showed me last week.
As what we've collected, but now we spend some of that on other things.
And then we can't do every street that's on there, we can't do, because I probably have.
But we also had
$15,000
years where we
blacktop
didn't
patches.
spend our full amount and we had carryover in the restricted funds account. So that would be available, although I know we were kind of thinking some of that might need to go to Chase 6, but I know excise tax can also go to Chase 6. So, yeah, we gotta pull those reports and look at what numbers we got so that we, you know what I
You
mean?
said you're not planning on doing all these streets.
Yeah, not for that, if we have 340-some,000, and if it's 340, I still have 15-20,000 in Wood League patches to do.
Can I make a suggestion? People on Bella Lane's gonna hate me, but I cannot see us fixing that street again until that other street's done up at the other end, so the farmer can go in up the other end instead of running them heavy manure trucks and all up and down Bella Lane, because that's what's tearing Bella Lane up. Because they're overweight, for one thing, when they haul that manure. And another thing is those tractors and all aren't that light either. So until that other development's done up there off of Kearns's and Bella Lane extends through Kearns's Flips property, I say put Bella Lane on hold.
But Bella Lane's not on there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
Bill was
Patch.
on there.
Yes,
It's
it's
the
patch.
patching of it, in the back section was not paved.
Oh, okay.
That's the very back side of the guy that's got all the cars.
Oh, okay.
That's, yeah, we stopped at the bottom of that hill right there when Brian Hopkins was here. when we
I
paved
know
it.
Thompson Court's in bad shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, but somebody was going to see whether that person was still parking a tractor trailer down there.
I haven't seen it, I've been
No,
looking.
I haven't
Oh,
seen it either. Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
But there's none of that pavement that was done back when Bella
He's
Lane
taking
was
his
fixed.
truck home, but not his trailer.
Will
Greg, how
you
long
have
is
a,
this?
will you have a list of like the most needed?
It's right
That's
there.
how,
That's how it is right
that's
now.
how it is up there?
Number
Okay.
one's the worst.
Yeah, cemetery
Gotcha.
lane's the worst, yeah.
Greg, how long is this bid good for with Huntsberry?
Probably 60, 90 days, I'm sure.
I don't want to table it, but can we just get with Brian and go through the numbers and see where we are so that we can come up with a better budget for you?
Absolutely.
Okay, I mean, you got the bid and he's saying want to put a bid in. If you're good for 60 days.
I'm sure
Trying to
he's,
see where.
yeah, they'll give us 60, 90
He'll probably
days.
do longer than that.
Center Street's.
He wants to
But-
document it
Yeah,
all.
it is.
I'd rather know what our number is so that we can, put the project together for you.
Understand?
Because I didn't have that number today, so I'm sorry. Can I do it at the workshop with you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So, yeah, there's a report that gets filled out every year.
Mhm.
I know Jim's seen it. And we need to know, I mean, there might not be any left over, but if so, we might have something that was sort of counted we can get rid of.
I'm with you. And I want to know what the right
Yeah,
number is.
and use, and like I said, by, you also have a little better knowing where you are over and under budget this year.
Yep.
Because normally our general fund, we have reserves.
Right.
We haven't spent all the funds.
So we have a motion to table this, or are you just gonna go over it and get?
Well, I'll bring it back to the workshop, but yeah, I guess we'll table it.
We don't have a
Don't have a
workshop this.
Oh, that's
And
right.
so
we
we don't
don't-
have any workshop.
Well, the June meeting's fine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we'll table it till the next meeting.
And we'll get
60 to 90 days, we can do it even in July if we need it.
Yeah, okay, all right, good, thank you.
Schaefer Park Phase 4 project budget.
Okay, Schaefer 4, for those of you not familiar with it, is the next phase in Schaefer Park. One of the things that Brian and I were working on was to come up with sort of a standardized way to present projects to the council so that you can see information, all of the relevant information that I've heard you all asking for over the last 9 months, okay? This is an example of what we would do. We would always have Boonesboro Mayor and Council, what the project is. This is Schaefer Park Phase 4 walking trail. So I show a project budget. You received a grant. It's a 90-10 grant. Town has to pay 10%, you get 90%. So that means you're gonna have to spend $165,388 to get every dollar of that $148,850. Everybody follow that? There's some comments out there to the side. These can be updated from time to time, just letting you know. The grant's been awarded. We've already filed 2 reimbursements. Okay? Town share, and then I show the expenditures. FSA, that's the engineer that did the work. The design's completed. We have all the permits. The only thing the town has to file for is the grading permit. Okay? So we're ready to go to bid. Now, before we go to bid, what's the first question that everybody's gonna ask? Do we have the money? Okay? So again, think about the whole thing, project, budget, and then either an explanation or a picture, something, so that you guys know what the heck you're approving. Okay? There's a whole set of plans, 24 by 36, 13 pages long. I'm sure you guys don't need to see all that. You just want to know where the heck the trail's starting and where is it ending, right? Okay? And then an updated cost estimate. So we got this last week. Their updated cost estimate to put it in is $141,000. That's the engineer's cost estimate. And when we look back up at the budget, we're estimating $150,318. The bids will determine what the numbers are going to be, but at least we have a cost estimate from an engineering company telling us it's within our budget. The question that comes to the council now, do you want to put it out for bid? In my estimations, since you got a 90% grant, you're only gonna have to come up with 16,000. And it's something that everybody said has been needed, and Greg told me this has been needed for a long time. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't put it out. But that decision rests upon the council. And that's what we're asking today at this meeting. Do you want to put it out for bid?
And the park board's okay with us putting it out for bid.
Absolutely.
So I will make a motion to put the project for phase 4 of the Schaefer Park Trail out for bid.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion, and a second to put Phase 4 out for bid. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstained, motion carries.
And the next one is lead lead service lines. We've been talking about this. Again, I'm gonna try to keep using the same formatting because I think once we all kind of get used to it, it's gonna go much quicker and you're gonna feel more comfortable with the data that you see. And again, if there's other information you want to see, tell me and we'll put it on here. Again, trying to give you a snapshot that you could look at in 30 seconds and get a summary. In this particular case, we had lead service line inventory. I know that Greg brought this up to you all many times. Greg and Yvette have done all of the work on this. In fact, WRA came out, they originally gave us a price of $175,000, $165,000. They saw all the work that Yvette and Greg had done, they were stunned. Basically, we have a whole lot of stuff. But in this thing, again, what is it? It's a lead line service inventory, and I put in red letters there that this is required. We have to turn in a spreadsheet. By that data, you start getting a $5,000 a day fine. Okay? We got bids. Greg reached out to all of these companies, WRA, EA, 120 Water. Some included a price from Keedysville, some did not, but I just put that information in there. Those are the bids that you've received to do this work. It's basically a cataloging using a spreadsheet of all of your services and whether they have lead or not. How do you know that? It's a big giant spreadsheet that Greg and Yvette have been working on. So you asked, what is the project budget? I asked Brian, he said that you all in your budget, you had $7,000 allotted for this, which means you're gonna have to, it's gonna come out of the operating fund. I mean, that's where it's gonna come out of, $7,000. So what, and again, there's not a picture for this one, but I did give you the information. Always a description, always something about what are you spending the money on. So what you have here now is you have 3 bids. You can't really wait on this anymore. We're already in May. I know Greg's chomping at the bit to get this done because summertime is when these guys are the busiest. And you start getting Boonesboro days and everything else starts rolling around, and this is not something we need to come up with, like, take time away from when the busy time of year. Got a couple of things there. I'm gonna be quiet now because Greg did a lot of the talking to these companies. I've just kind of given you the overview and just showing you the general budget, where we are, and Greg, believe it or not, I'm gonna shut up.
There's a huge range for these bids, so what,
I think the 113 is I don't want to do it.
okay.
Bid.
Well, that's what I'm asking, because it's clearly not in the ballpark. Did we put an extra one in the spreadsheet, or was there, like, were they seeing something that somebody else is blind to?
WRA is a huge reputable
Right, and I know we
engineering
use
firm.
them a lot, that's why I'm
They have massive overhead.
Okay.
They just have massive overhead. And just to get the proposal redone and issued to us took a month and a half because it has to be reviewed. It's just big, it's just a big engineering firm. The good thing about big engineering firms like that is they have lots of talent in lots of different areas, and it's kind of one-stop shopping. But I think what Greg could probably reiterate on better than I can is EA and 120 are kind of, this is
Well,
kind of what they
they're
do. This is what they
in the
do.
same ballpark, so that's why.
Greg's done most of the work for him, Mary Lee.
That's-
So that's another reason why.
Yeah, we just need an engineering firm to finalize it and take everything off of Bet's desk and the rest of all the information I have.
Yeah.
I've been sitting in these conference calls. I was sitting in EA with Brandon from Keedysville, he's one of the counselors. He was on that one. They were actually more expensive. He said that they have one that's probably a little cheaper. So I'm gonna try to get with him and see what engineering firm they're using, and we might get another price. I mean, it might be a little bit cheaper than $6,000. But we don't, talking to Brandon, we have to submit this as one form, because we're one more of Keedysville. But we can choose different engineering firms. We don't have to have the same engineering firms. Keedysville does.
I understand, that's, yeah.
I saw this on the Greensburg Keysville Water Board agenda for this Wednesday. So,
But EA was from Hunt Valley, right? So they're not, I mean, they're in our general area. Have we used them before for projects?
I haven't, no. Their trucks are all through town. Have you ever used them?
We haven't used them, but they have familiarity with other towns, they've got references.
120 Water, all they do is this requirement for MDE, that's it. They do nothing else.
I can give you a breakdown on what's my water.
I mean, I just noticed they didn't, I mean, unless they have, I guess they have a local office, somebody in Maryland rep, but they were out of Indiana.
Elbridge, the guy that come down and we did the conference call was from Elbridge.
And I know it includes a lot of information, but it's digital, and it's not paper. I do include the bids. That way you.
Yeah, I know, that's why.
That way,
I said,
I know
kind of where they were,
it's
that's why I
30
said,
pages,
like,
but
what
at least
is
you can
going
see.
on here with WRA with the money anything. I just was trying to figure out.
I think that was a polite way to bid it high, so we don't have to want.
If we're gonna do it, we're gonna make a lot of money.
So am I hearing that you want to reach out to another company before we accept these bids, or you want a motion tonight for us to accept, like, I guess EA's lowest bid right now?
Can you do a phone vote after Wednesday night?
Yeah, I think we'll wait till
Wednesday night.
meeting with those guys.
Well, we can't go no longer than Wednesday night. I mean, we've been pushing this thing around for weeks. BMUC knows about it. We talked to them. Colin wanted to wait for WRA's quote. Now we have WRA's quote. That's why it's being presented to you.
So Brandon, did you say there was a fourth firm?
So there's another we haven't reached out to yet, it's called Eads. So Lisa was at the ML thing up in the Ocean City, it was to.
Rural water.
City Water Water, thank you. So she was at that, and she attended the NDE event, which actually broke down what the requirements are for this, which I'm not gonna bore you with that, but just understand that, as Greg said, October 16th is, Drew said, October 16th is the drop dead date, it needs to happen. And basically what it is they gotta go through a crud ton of paperwork and put a huge spreadsheet together, which is insanity. Apart from that, so there's another company that may do it. It has been a struggle to get the clear requirements on what's needed, apart from just fill out a spreadsheet. And MDE has not been the most responsive.
Yeah.
They even just updated their spreadsheet 2 months ago. This thing's due in October. The second part of this, just to give you guys a heads up, is legislation that has not been completed yet. And the second part of it is if you go to a house and you don't know the results yet, this is unknown, eventually that has to be closed out. That is still kind of up in the air. Apart from it has to be done within 10 years. And then once they pass legislation, that 10 years doesn't kick in until 3 years after they pass it. And it's a whole thing. But we don't know what that is. So this is just step one. To be aware of those.
It's modeled after Detroit.
Well, what we could do is we could approve this bid with the exception of Greg coming back and saying, we got one cheaper. And then we can make that decision Wednesday over the phone.
But in other words, we're still gonna
Do you
have to
wanna-
pay some extra money, right? With the low bid.
Which one do you want to wait, or do you want us to go
I'd
out?
like to wait till Wednesday night until after the very first meeting for the board meeting, and then I'll.
We'll do a phone,
Okay.
we'll do a phone vote Thursday.
Well, yeah, but I'm looking at.
But you like EA, right?
Yeah, he seemed like he knew what he was doing, and before we signed anything with him, I'd like for him to come down, sit, talk with me, Drew, and Yvette.
Okay, so
Well,
that's.
in your two guys' opinion, would it make sense to have the thing you both found?
It would be nice, but I'll tell you, 120 water, I have to break out of that. It's cheaper for us to use 120 water, but I think EA didn't understand what our requirements were. So we're gonna kind of work with them on that thing. It would be nice to have the same one. In the end, what Greg was saying is it has to be one spreadsheet that's submitted. We can have two different companies, but we gotta put them together.
Right, you got
One
one
water
all
system.
together for what, yeah.
Somebody's got to copy and paste all that stuff.
So we'll do that on Thursday. After the meeting Wednesday
Yeah,
night,
Wednesday.
we'll contact everybody Thursday and do it.
Tony and Eric will both be at Wednesday night's meeting.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Out of town water and sewer connection policy.
Thanks, Brandon.
Yep.
Thank
See you
you.
Wednesday.
You're welcome.
Okay. We've talked about this a couple of times. This is not the first time for anyone. As I've said many times in the past, I would not bring something to you and ask you to approve it at the same meeting. So this is actually coming up for you all for a vote. The issue, should the mayor and council adopt a policy for connections to the town's water and sewer system outside of the corporate limits of Boonesboro? And basically, the town's been approached a couple of times already about property owners that are outside the town limits of Boonesboro to connect to the town's water distribution system. I asked the BMUC if they had a policy for it. They do not. BMUC spent the last 2 months drafting a policy. After lengthy discussion, the BMUC is recommending the attached policy be approved by the mayor and council. Staff would recommend the same. Is the draft out of town sewer policy. It's very simple and it's very direct. It basically states that the policy of the town of Boonesboro is that it is preferred to provide public water and sewer to properties within the town boundaries. However, you're recognizing that due to public health concerns with karst geology in the area, the town of Boonesboro was required to provide public water outside of the town boundaries. This policy addresses future connections to the town's public water system outside the town boundaries. Property within the town boundaries are required to follow the subdivision process, so you got them covered there. They got to come to that. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. I always have a question. Sorry. So now the loop, the alternate 40 extension out here has some restrictions on it, as to my understanding with our MD saying that only those homes in those affected areas were allowed to
That's right.
connect to that. So I just want to make sure now, I know your concern was we've got lines going this way,
Right.
which don't have those. So does this, you know what I mean? Because basically that was considered quote unquote a closed loop, except for that there were some,
Yes.
well, I think the auction house plaza thing has the right, I think there might have been one or up to other people that have the right to connect to that didn't at the time. Like it was our understanding that we could not open that up to anybody else for development, or else we'd have to pay back what we funded.
So what you're doing is you're taking a condition of a grant
Yeah,
and you're putting it into the form of policy. Because one of the things that the policy addresses is it says, look at the attached map to see where you can't connect. Unless you have a verifiable health risk identified by a professional, not somebody says, my water's bad.
Right.
You've got to have Washington County Health Department come out and say, there's a problem with your water. You got fecal coliform. That's a measurable risk or something of that nature. So the answer to your question, Councilwoman, is that, yes, you're taking a condition that you remember from the grant,
yeah.
and we're taking it and making it a public policy so that anybody that wants to connect to the system has to follow this
Right,
policy.
but I don't even know, like, say they do further down Mill Point Road and want to connect, I'm not sure they're allowed to connect to
No,
that.
they're not.
Okay.
They're not, that's not stated anywhere except in a grant agreement from 20 years ago. That's
So
why.
does this policy cover us that we're not allowed to?
That's correct.
Okay, that's what I'm making sure I understand.
The only exception we granted is the BMUC did grant the exception for a service connection for a single family house.
Right.
And that came about because you do have one member under BMUC that represents out of town users. And he said, well, if I've lived out there my whole life and water line's been right there.
Well, that's what I'm concerned though, if they live out there and decide to build a house, that line they can't add to because it was not really like,
That is correct.
yeah,
Absolutely.
it had that restriction.
Yes. So what you're doing is you're taking that out from a grant restriction and you're actually putting it in a public document that is approved by the council. And if somebody comes in and says, I want to hook up to this water line. Well, if you're in town, you go through the subdivision process. That's how you get the permission. If you're outside of town, BMUC would have to approve it. But what do you approve? And the main reason for this is if you don't have a policy, remember, we're not a private entity. We're the government. We have to treat everybody fairly and equally and the same. And if you don't do that, someone can take you to court and argue that you didn't treat everybody the same way. So what you're doing here is you're just saying, all these water lines that are running outside the town boundaries, you guys aren't allowed to connect them. Right. Unless there's a public health emergency.
Now, is it time for me to speak?
Feel free.
Get back to your text here.
Back to the map.
Right there.
Okay.
You know, I'm plenty about things, and I brought this up in the beginning, you see. That sentence, adjacent to the town's water lines. We may assume that the water line's running here and somebody's building a house right here.
Mhm.
But I know right now, there's one up here on Mount Laurel Road where they're building a house way up off.
I saw that.
Right.
So, yes, it's adjacent to the water line, but it's a mile up in the mountain. But I think what we talked about in the BMUC was.
It's at the property line.
The meter would be way down here on the road, right?
It's their cost to run it up there. We can't do it, Councilman. We can't. We don't have an easement. We're not legal. We can only put it within that 5-foot area near the property line. That's the only place it can go. It would maybe, please run it up here. Well, first of all, we wouldn't do that. Second of all, we don't have an easement, so we can't come up there and do anything.
There's one in Kinsey Heights like that, isn't there?
Yeah. There's one in Kinsey Heights that feeds a house clear out on Mapleville Road, but the meter's sitting in our easement.
Okay, well, and I think we're gonna have.
Runs way back through the woods and everything.
Are we gonna have the same thing up here at good old 50 St. Paul where there's 4 lots?
Same thing.
Are up in the mountain.
Yep.
But their meter's gonna have to be down here right.
Down the
at
street.
St. Paul.
That's correct.
So, you know, it's just that paragraph kind of gives the impression that here's the water line and the house is gonna be right here. So that was my only thing about that. As long as we all understand, because I can just see some developer reading this and them thinking, oh, you gotta run the line way up to my property,
No. I did. It's right here at the property line and I don't have the right to come onto your property because I don't have an easement. Would that give me an easement to your house? I can assure you a homeowner's gonna say it.
Well, as long as
A written
we
easement.
know what we're saying.
I inspect them, Councilmember Dickon, I wouldn't let that, I promise.
You don't have to call the council.
You got it. It didn't sound good.
Okay. Everybody understanding?
Yeah.
Good. Do I have a motion to accept the out-of-town water and sewer connection policy?
I'll make a motion that we accept the BMUC's draft policy of out-of-town water sewer connection.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions, discussions, concerns?
I'll have not a question or concern. I did have someone approach me
Okay.
that I knew we were working on this, Sean Banner, does everybody know Sean?
Yeah.
He asked me, well, what's it take to get on town water? And his house is sitting right there and the line goes right past it. So I guess that now flies to him to come in and buy a tap, right?
That's correct.
So I'll just tell him to come buy a tap, if he wants to proceed.
He would have to, yes, and it has to be an inch and a half or less.
Right. Then
And his,
Literally stated right there.
yeah, and that's fine. All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
But I thought it also had to have a post verifiable health.
Well, they do.
Okay, good to know.
Nope.
Here we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries.
just for a little quick side notes, for talking water and sewer, you guys did get your first water and sewer tap payment in a while.
Yes.
I know, last week
Was it Kim, I think it was?
Center Street.
Center Street. So,
Okay, next item on donation is, on our agenda is a donation request from the Boonesboro Athletic Boosters. They're having the 31st annual Dwight Scott Memorial Golf Tournament. They're asking us to be a whole sponsor, or silver for 50 or gold for 100. And we still have money left, so
280.
we have enough.
I'll
that we
make a
can do
motion
gold.
to be a gold sponsor for 100.
I'll
second.
We have a motion and a second to be a gold sponsor for 100. Any questions, concerns? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries. Committee, anything else coming before the council? Hearing none, commission reports. Park board, Ricky,
Let's see.
you didn't eat? Okay.
Yeah, we met, but it was just, it was basically a walkthrough. Yeah. I'm sure Greg's got everything. All right, then I'll.
Email it to me, yeah, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Everything else is old news, so I don't have anything.
94 kids for exhibition movie.
Yeah.
Oh, was that the number 94?
Yep.
Anybody catch the big goldfish?
Nobody called
No,
any?
No.
the gold one.
How many were, about 40?
Greg said probably closer to about 50.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's-
think we might counted 40 some, 47 or
There's
something,
people
but
walking up
I
on the
know a
clinic,
couple
they can
of
get it
did
clean.
check in, so.
About 50, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all. It was a lovely day, wasn't it?
I was there. Carrie was baiting hooks. I was, yeah. She's the worm expert. We learned.
Pittsburgh Utilities Commission, Tony?
Sure. BMUC last met on April the 17th under old business, the wastewater treatment plant sludge dewatering update. The project is complete, training has started. Unable to find a less expensive coagulant at this point, but hopefully we'll still look at that and come up with something. Schaefer Park well update, testing is underway. MDE is concerned that there's the source of well water is underground water influence. That's why they're making us do all these extra tests. We heard about a little bit of that earlier. So we've got one more round of testing to do and hopefully that will move forward soon. Reservoir update, we're still waiting for MDE to sign off on the plans. Town of Boonesboro is still working to secure additional funding. Alternate 40 Gravity Sewer update, the auction house. And Arrow was tasked to do a sewer feasibility study. 2 options are being pursued. We'll have more updates on that as things move along. Review draft policy for connection to water or sewer outside of town boundaries. We just had that one. That just got passed. Review example of the water sewer certification procedure. That was unanimous approval for the process and certification form. The lead service line inventory update. You heard about that earlier. The town of Boonesborough is working to get that finalized, and we're going to know more about that later in the week. Dean South looping update. Town planner stated that we will be modifying the plan and connecting from a fire hydrant with a 6-inch line loop, and that's being fully funded by the developer. Under new business, the Crestview water pressure bypass, we're working with WRA. Plans show that we're going to install a parallel line running along the shoulder. Cost estimates will be available at the next BMUC meeting, which is next week. A new master sheet of available EDUs, water sewer capacity was presented. There will be some additional discussion on that as far as the calculation. Our next meeting is going to be on May the 22nd. And we're actually going to meet at the wastewater treatment plant, and we're going to have a demo of the dewatering press operation. And I think we're going to finish our meeting there in Pete's facility. After our meeting, because Kathy and Barb came late, Kathy Vesley and Barb did a presentation for Sustainable Maryland, the Green Team, that they were gearing up for their next recertification, which is due in 2026. And they're hoping to get the almighty silver at their next round. They're just asking all commissions and the mayor and council to partner with them so that we can get this paperwork filled out and do the silver Sustainable Maryland. And that was it.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions or comments? Hearing none. Diane, Eric?
Yes, let's put something down here. All right, we did meet on April 23rd, very short meeting, only really one item on the agenda to discuss. And Drew, keep me straight here. That was about the final plat approvals for Dean South, which Dean South is, as we all know, where the new road's going to come across out here. That consists of 56 total homes, as I remember, 18 of which are age 55 and over, and the remaining of the 56 are just single family. So that's divided into 4 plats. So Planning Commission reviewed those 4 plats, and one thing that they wanted added was some verbiage as far as the road must be complete before any construction can begin. We kind of all know that, but they just wanted it formally in the agreement. And I suggested actually the signature box for approvals and such, I suggested to put a block where they print and sign both, because a couple of years ago, we had some site plans. Somebody signed them and we couldn't figure out whose signature it was. So let's put a print and sign block in there. And then there was just a bit of discussion about the HOA would maintain the forestation out there. And that was basically it. And anything else that I missed on that, Drew?
No, sir.
It was pretty quick and pretty to the point. So we're good to go on that. And we will be meeting again here in not this week, the next week at 6 o'clock now instead of 7.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions of Eric?
Did they say where they were gonna put a small park playground up there? Did they say where they were gonna do that?
You don't have any area identified for a small playground or play.
They were supposed to. I had to get my prints out and look at it.
Okay, well, there's nothing on them.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing anything like that either.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a
They're giving a lot of open space, but it's not recreational area. it's either throw reforestation plantings, or it's, stormwater management, or it's something else, but there's no top lot or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'll have to look.
That
I
site
thought there was.
Yeah, that site plan has been approved for like 2 years out there. Maybe you're talking about to not be completed yet. Oh,
Yeah.
I
So
call it Dean North.
it's right, it's supposed to be right up up off Chase 6, right? By Chase 6, up in that general area.
All right, let me look at the plans, because I know he has a whole another phase, Dean North, I don't, I'll look.
Maybe it's in.
I'll have to look at mine as well. We've gone through all that several years ago
Yeah.
with Mr. Draper.
Yeah, that's what I would call it, the Dean North. I didn't know that was really what they were calling it.
It's the field. Connect Circle.
Yes. that's-
Any other questions?
No.
EDC, Ray?
Okay, last meeting was on the 24th, but the EDC showed up tonight, talked to you all for a while, that was the big bulk of the meeting. So they've already discussed with you and I appreciate you listening to them and allowing them to proceed forward. We did have a ribbon cutting, most of you were in attendance on, I think it was 100% turnout for the council at the farmers market. Thank you very much, it was outstanding, outstanding.
I even bought some stuff.
Yeah, man. He was there.
I got a sample.
The next meeting is gonna be at Sandmar, 8 o'clock in the morning on the 23rd of this month. Yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Anybody got any questions, Ray? Hearing none, environmental, Terry?
I'm writing this down. Sandmar, 8:30,
Sandmar, 8:30 on the 23rd.
June 23rd.
No.
May.
May.
What are they doing at Sandmar? Someone gonna be there giving them a tour or something?
Yeah, they're gonna do a presentation.
Okay. Wait, they did.
Yeah.
They did one at Barney Keating.
Yeah.
We had a master gardener come and speak, very informative. Let's see. They did compliment all of the council and especially Ray because he came to the farmer's market. We all attended and they complimented us for being there. Kathy Vesley said she wanted us to guess how many showed up. Can you all guess?
As far as
At the
people,
farmer's market.
maybe 150.
237.
543.
Wow.
543.
That's why we're the number one farmer market.
Yep, that's the biggest she said in 10 years. Biggest in 10 years.
I wouldn't.
There was 27 vendors, dogs and kids. They did question about the sweeper. And they wanted to know if we included in the contract or whatever, the farmer's market lot to be swept.
No, it's just the streets.
It should be.
That's what
Should
they.
be pervious, it's pervious.
Yeah.
Curtis,
Yep.
That probably won't be a problem to get them to do that.
That and the habitat place here, well, now it's what is it, chiropractor?
Yeah,
That lot, pervious too.
yeah, we'll add that to the list.
Okay.
That won't be a problem because we're paying for the diesel fuel and the cost of the brushes, that's all.
Right now, we sweep it with ours, but we don't have a vacuum, they have a vacuum book to theirs.
Is it up and running yet? Did they ever get the part?
Yeah, Nathan told me it was fixed.
They finally got it fixed, but that will probably won't start until July.
Okay.
We're trying to get them to get us their contract so we can get started in June, but the way they're moving in Williamsport, I would say July.
Okay.
And it'll be the same date as always, the third Monday of each month, right, Ray?
Yes,
There's a third Monday or Tuesday?
now you got me confused.
Third Tuesday, isn't it?
The signs are all down now, so.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say.
still have to start the signs.
I don't want mine back up. Leave mine off.
Going back up on Main Street.
That's about it.
Anybody have any other thing for Terry? Hearing none. Anybody else have anything for the council tonight?
I wanted to ask Tony something or scribble down. You gave the report to Kathy Vesley and the meeting we attended. She wasn't at the DMUC, was she? Did I forget myself here?
Yeah, remember they came late?
Yeah, but then we went to that other separate meeting too.
That was
That's
the,
separate,
yeah,
where,
that was just, yeah, that was you and I and
Yeah.
they came.
Bar control and about.
Yeah. They thought the meeting started at 7.
I was so polite, told them that the meetings are posted online and
Yeah.
we meet at 6 o'clock.
Okay, that's right. How should I take it?
Anything else? Hearing none. I need a motion to go into executive session as provided under general provision of Article 3-305B8. Consult with staff, consultants, or other individuals about pending or potential litigation. And one subsection I, to discuss the appointment, employment, assessment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over.
So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay, abstaining, motion carried. We're now in executive session. Thank you.